Good day, everybody. This is BA Radiant Dawn, and first off, I do apologize. It's been a little while. Christmas time always goes crazy. I was working for an entire month straight, so that left me next to no time for streaming videos or anything alike. But I got free time now, y'all. If my voice sounds a little wacky, it's because I'm kind of sick. But anyway. Yeah, so, as you can tell by the title, I absolutely loved this SDR run this time around, and I honestly, here's the thing, I didn't even do very good at all. I had 7 wins and 4 losses. I will go over my actual matches in a future video here. This video is mainly to kind of give you guys a day one kind of recap as to what I was up against, what things I noticed, what things kind of fell by the wayside, which units are rising in usage, which units are falling this SDR. For those of you who have not done SDR yet, this is going to be a hopefully semi-accurate guide that you guys can use if you want to get an idea of what's going on. So yeah, first off, the reason why I absolutely love this SDR is because, honestly, the map, first off, very, very nice. It actually hinders flyers like Hinoka lines and whatnot because you can't charge through a freaking wall that you can't break. So, love it. Not only that, but it also is very cav friendly. And for those of you who don't know, I do love my calves very, very much. I use calves for everything. It's fantastic. SDR, SDS, I don't care. I use calves. So, an actual cav-friendly map for the first time in ages, I'm very excited about that. Now, this was a really weird SDR run, but it's part of the reason why I liked it. There wasn't necessarily a specific pasta to use, and for those who don't know your SDR lingo, it's okay. I don't really know it much either, but basically a pasta is a copy pasta. You copy, paste someone else's team. Makes sense, right? Usually it's like Katria Ball, Hinoka line. That is it. Which to me is very boring. Okay, I like variety. I like to use units. I like to use different units. So what I would normally do is look at what's being used, currently being like, okay, you guys all counter this main team. Go. And honestly, it's been kind of working kind of good. I'm not in the Masters in SDR, but I've been climbing since I've started doing that, so progress, baby! But, this was a really weird SDR run because there was variety for the first time in a very long time. I feel like a lot of people had issues pinpointing exactly what things they should counter. Because warping is very much a thing, so Gatekeeper is good. But cav lines are very prevalent, which makes Gatekeeper useless. But which makes Winter Byleth good, but Winter Byleth can be countered by specific units, so you'd have to make sure you have those, and you have to make sure you have outs to Miracle, and Harmonic Ana, and a whole bunch of other units that you guys are going to see later. Like, there's lots of variety, and honestly, I have no problem saying that this SDR run was basically SDS variety. The amount of teams, different compositions, beautiful. The main units who were used that I ran across, of course, are legendary, let's start with Duo Byleth, because Duo Byleth's the newest save, but also a really good one. Very hard to kill. Only a handful of units can actually successfully kill Duo Byleth, even with no Duo button, let alone with the Duo button. It is obnoxious. I like to use Happy, and she can sometimes kill, which is frightening to me. I had to drop Happy this SDR, and I'm not happy about it. But on the flip side, there were some matches where I was like, I would have won if I had Happy. And you know what? I would have. We'll cover that later too. The other unit that's mostly used is Legendary Crom. Why? Because Legendary Crom kills Byleth. It's very back and forth. Either people use Byleth, people use Legendary Crom, or some people use both. I don't know how many, but not very many. But some people did. And it's because you have to go in expecting to see Byleth, which means you need to have an answer for Byleth, and the most consistent answer to Byleth is Legendary Crom. It's kind of a circle. So Legendary Crom, very much used. But yeah, like, this map is fantastic. The only thing I can really hammer and kind of like take a point off of this SDR run in terms of composition is the captain skills kind of suck. The most used one was Mass Confusion, and that's just attack defense -7 that can be cleansed. Woo! Right? Like, oh, those extra -7 stats are actually going to do much. Dual Ymir. Or action used. It's nothing. It can be handy, but it's not much. It's not really a big deal. The other ones were the one that nobody ever used. I think it's like the quickening special one on turns 2 through 5. And the other one is Impregnable, which is really, really cool for SDS. SDR, not so much. Pretty much everyone I fought used Mass Confusion, which is fair. It's probably the best one of the group for SDR anyway. Because, I don't know, debuffs. But, like, that's about it. I don't know. This was a really wacky captain skill round, but very nice map, very nice variety. This was probably my favorite SD run I've ever had. And, well, not ever had. But yeah, my favorite SDR run I've ever had. And my second favorite SD run ever since the debut of Brave Corrin, when I went 16-4. 16 wins and 4 losses. And I just killed Brave Corrins the entire time because I figured out how to play against them. And honestly, this was a pretty fun SDR round. I'm gonna get into the units here that you guys. So we're gonna get into the main part of the video where these are the units that you have to watch out for. The builds, not necessarily builds, but like the team constructions and units that you have to have answers for. And it's going to be rough because there's a lot of them. And there's a lot of little tricks as well. So, stay tuned. Okay, so first off, we got to talk about the biggest, most used unit in this entire game mode round, SDR round. Duo Byleth. So Duo Byleth is one of the best saves in the game. Maybe even the best. I don't want to take Toki off that pedestal, but I might have to give it to Byleth. Byleth is a very, very good far save. The only things that I've heard confirmed that can take down Byleths is Duo Sanaki, and I think with Occultist Strike and Flared, and I don't know if it's AoE or not, but you can play around with that. Do some testing in the simulator, okay? Legendary Crom, very consistently. Like, he's the most consistent one of the bunch. And, Yanaka. I've heard Miracle Yanaka might be able to take down the Byleths. But that's, like, it. So, pretty much every single team either had Yanaka, Legendary Crom, or Sanaki. One of those three. Because you need an answer for Legendary Byleth, or for Duo Byleth. Otherwise, you're not getting through. It is brutal. They are a very good unit. Other problem kind of... Some of these are problem units. Some of these are problem archetypes that you need to make sure you have answers for. You need to make sure you have an answer for Miracle. And while Fallen Maria is here as a symbol of Drive Miracle, there's also built-in Miracle, like Harmonized Anna right beside her. These two you need to have answers for. You definitely need to have an answer for, like, just C-Feud is easy. That just dispatches Maria, no problem. Or AoE nukes. AoE nukes do really well against Maria, but not very well against Byleth with that duo button up. But also do really well against Harmonized Anna. So, like, it's good to have an AoE nuke to knock down the miracles. It's good to have a way to kill the Byleths. Harmonized Katri is here because warping shenanigans for pretty much all of these units, except for Yanaka. Soaring Guidance for Maria and the Harmonized Annas. And Guidance for Dual Byleth. Harmonized Katri is mainly here just to show warping as a whole. Warping as a whole is really good on this map because you can actually like jump over and warp units over the middle unbreakable rock pillar thingies, which is absolutely a move you can do. And it's actually kind of fun, not gonna lie. Just being able to pop a unit in front of your opponent and just completely wreck their entire setup is absolutely phenomenal. It's so much fun. And Yanaka is here because you need to make sure you have an answer for her because she could be absolutely toxic against pretty much any matchup. But she's also there to represent Cav lines as a whole because Cav lines, this is the first really good Cav line map we've had in SDR in, I want to say ever, but I feel like that's probably incorrect, but it might be ever. This is the best map. It's so much fun. And like I said, you get a lot of variety. You've got warping, you've got flyer lines, you've got cav lines, you got everything all at once. All of it. It's so much fun. I love it. But yeah, when it comes to like Yanaka specifically, Canto Control. You have to have Canto Control. And usually the best unit to have that on is Legendary Crom. Because that way you have an out to Byleth, you have an out to Yanaka. Legendary Crom is just a really good unit, honestly. If you don't have Legendary Crom, it's going to be rough for you, but you can use another Crom, but you'd need a different Byleth killer. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I enjoyed, like, all these units are pretty terrifying in their own rights. I got walled by Anna once or twice because I did not have an AoE nuke to get through her, or no other way to get through her. Warping's not too much of a problem for cav lines, at least, because you just have greater range. Like, the only thing that you can have to worry about is them warping units into to the other side of the pillars where you are. That's the only thing you really have to worry about, for the most part. Yanaka, cav lines, just toxic. Canto Control just stops her in her place. Canto Control is very good against cav lines, especially right now. So that's really helpful. Again, the three main counters to Byleths. There's probably more, but those are the main three. Maria, Feud, Fatal Smoke, 4, which I'd prefer Feud. Because Fatal Smoke only stops like drive miracle effects. So that's like Maria, that's duo Ymir and base Ymir and like base Ymir. But no one uses base Ymir really. So it's just her, like Maria and duo Ymir. But I didn't even see a duo Ymir. Now, in terms of units that are kind of falling off in usage, or other units that I want to talk about. So, first off, on the left-hand side, we got the Gatekeeper. He's solid. He can stop warping, and he could stop calves with Canto Control, and he could do some other stuff too. So he's solid. He's not great offensively though. He's just there for support, and that's about it. But he could do good support. I know there's one. I think who was it? There was someone in the competitive server who got rank 1, and she had a Gatekeeper on her team, and she's a really good player too. So like, he does his work. Like I feel like almost every unit that you have on your team. Like, on your team as a whole, you want to have as many answers as possible to multiple different threats. So any unit that doubles down on threats is fantastic. Like Gatekeeper, and with Canto Control and Anti-Warping. So he stops cav lines somewhat, and he stops warping completely, which is so damn good. Toki. Toki is kind of falling off this season. I only ran into like 1 or 2 Thokis in 11 matches. She's not really being used all that much, even though she's still a really good unit. It's just a little bit harder to position her now. because like she has to try to go further, and like she's more liable to get sniped before you can even get the duo skill off. She's more difficult to use this map, but I wouldn't say she's unusable. She's just a little more difficult to use. But yeah, like Toki just stops a lot of shenanigans. She strips Wind Dogger of her Pathfinder. She strips Winter Dimitri of his bonuses. Legendary Crom of his bonuses. Any bonuses. Any unit with bonuses, Toki just deletes. And she's an AoE nuke, which is really good against miracle units. And she could also, like, you could even run Ploy or Pulse Smoke on your seal slots. And honestly, it's not bad. I mean, not seal slots, C slot. Sorry, I'm recording this at like 2 in the morning almost, so forgive me. I'm a little bit tired and a little bit sick, so I'm trying to make it through. But yeah, Toki is absolutely still a really good unit, just kind of falling off because flyers have a harder time being mobile on this map. But like I said, she's still really, really solid. Yeah, your best, I want to say best build on her would probably be Flared plus Occultist plus AoE plus maybe Ploy in the C slot. So then you could be anti-Elliewood, anti-Robin, you could be anti-Miracle, you could be anti-Statuses. Yeah, that's probably the best. I would say that's the best build, but someone in the comment section, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I do not know much about this, but I am trying. The new unit, Duo Sather, is actually really interesting to use on this map. Oblivion used her to great effect, I do believe. Basically, the gimmick is you put her in position and you shut down a unit of your foes. However, there's kind of really easy counterplay to that. Put a unit in her range that you do not care about, that you're not planning on moving. Like a unit that has an effect at the start of turn, you just plop them down, use Brave Crom, repo them, get the effects, unit's still there, done deal, GG. Like, what I would typically do when it came to fighting Duo Sather is I would put Wind Dogger in her way. Why? Well, Wind Dogger just grants effects and she's Pathfinder anyway. She doesn't need to move. She's not really combat. She's more support. So let's keep the support units still, shall we? I don't care. I'm not losing anything, especially with the team I used, which you will see in another video. But for now, we're going to stick to this. So Duo Sather is actually really, really solid. Really, really interesting unit. Really, really fun to use, I've heard. I cannot for the life of me remember what their Duo skill does, but I remember that they shut down a foe's actions with their C skill, so that's still absolutely phenomenal. Best build easily is Double Still Water because you need that res stat, and she can get really high on res. So yeah, Duo Sather, solid unit. If you want to have fun locking enemies out of movements, you can catch some unsuspecting people and just screw up their game plan on whatever turn you want. It's so much fun. And she's a flyer, so going forward, Hinoka lines are going to love this unit. It's going to be so toxic and annoying. So the last unit I want to talk about is technically Winter Dimitri, but also just bonuses, stat bonuses, and stats. Yes, status effects in general, more so pertaining to a combo of units. So first off, Winter Dimitri, you need to have an answer. Well, it's best if you have an answer for his... this is where Hardy Bearing comes into play. Have an answer for him. Hardy Bearing screws him over really good, and that's all you really need is Hardy Bearing to kill him. Or attack into him before he gets his max effects. Like, before he attack... Because in order for him to get his vantage and stuff, he needs to initiate onto you. Like, if you're fighting him. Like, if you're his foe, he needs to initiate onto you in order to get his vantage, and that's how he sweeps. Hardy Bearing just... He's dead on the water. Like, you could use an AoE to kill him. You could use anything to kill him. Just Hardy Bearing kills him pretty good. I actually had Hardy Bearing on my Winter Dimitri, so I sent my Winter Dimitri against theirs, and then they surrendered. It was funny, because I killed the Dimitri with Dimitri when it should have killed me. So that was a tech option, because right now, a lot of people are putting Hardy Bearing on units that are ranged, mainly because speed preempt Hinoka, or just a bunch of speed preempt units, mainly, right? And sometimes Vantage Altina, though not as much anymore, like Mythic Altina. But, like, I would honestly say that having Hardy Bearing on a melee unit right now is more beneficial because Dimitri will screw you over if you are not prepared to beat him. You need to have an answer to Dimitri. Either don't let him attack you and kill him first, or Hardy Bearing will just destroy his entire career. Now, fun fact. While you might be seeing Dimitri on the screen, I'm also going to be talking about Brave Crom and Wind Dogger. Wind Dogger grants effects. I use this neat little combo of Wind Dogger and supported with Dimitri to give him his 4th effect. And then Brave Crom to steal Pathfinder. So there's 3 Pathfinder units. And then I had Legendary Crom and Gulveg. So it's a pretty good team that could handle pretty much all of these threats except for Miracle Anna. You need an AoE for that, and I just did not have an AoE for that, so I wish I had Happy, but that's how I had to roll. But still, 7 out of 4, like 7 wins, 4 losses is still pretty good considering the fact that I didn't have an Anna counter, and I luckily did not encounter too many Annas. So that's nice. But yeah, again, Toki stomps Anna, Toki stomps Dimitri, Toki stomps pretty much everything still. Toki's still a threat, she's just not as used. So like if you don't have Wind Dogger, you could probably make do with Duo Dogger. You just have to play a little bit smarter against Toki. That's the main thing. But yeah, these are the main units that you need to make sure that you have some kind of answer for. So it's like Hardy Bearing for like any Vantage type units. Canto Control for the Cav lines. Just remember how that Duo Sathers is Cardinal, so you could put a unit in range or just keep no units in range, and you're fine. But if you do have a unit in range, try to see if it could be like the most useless unit on your team. Toki, still fantastic, but not as common. Toki is kind of disappearing a little bit. Gatekeeper is still really, really good in stopping a couple different archetypes. Yunaka, Cavline, Canto Control. Katria, Gatekeeper is the answer there. AoEs just screw up the Annas, but if you use AoEs, you have to make sure you have a Byleth counter and kill the Byleth first. Otherwise, you're not going to get through very easily. And yeah, that is kind of my breakdown as to why I absolutely love this SDR season. It was fantastic. Like I said, someone in the Discord kind of like messaged me like, "Oh yeah, well of course you had fun because like winning is fun." I barely won. I only got 7 wins and 4 losses. Fun fact is, it was in a row, 7 in a row, and then 4 in a row. So at least I'm consistent. But yeah, no, like I just had fun because of the variety. Like yes, every team pretty much had Duo Byleth, Legendary Crom, Yunaka, or Saniki. But like Legendary Crom is one of the most versatile units in the game. He could be put on any team and he can work just fine. He could go on a flyer line, he could go on a cav line, he could go infantry warping, he could do pretty much anything. He's a really versatile unit, and this was the most variety I've seen in SDR in a very long time, and it was very, very refreshing, and I really enjoyed it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, and if this video ended up helping you guys at all, comment down below. Did you have fun this SDR? Did I help you with something you didn't already know? Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and keep an eye out for the next SDR replays video. And I'm going to be, like, gushing over my replays. Even if I lose, I am not complaining. I love it. I like to learn. That's why I don't like ties. I can't learn if I tie all the time. I need to lose. Or win. You know. Game stuff. Anyway. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. But until next time, this is B. We're done. Signing off. Bye! Oh, and also, summoning session on sometime soon. It'll be a summoning stream. Oh, stop by Biology's stream tomorrow. It's Joel's birthday, I do believe. All I saw on the title was birthday summoning stream. So I'm like, ooh, birthday. So you could probably catch me in there. Anyway, peace everybody. Have fun. And prep your best for SDR. It's a very wild ride this season. It's hard to make sure you have counters to everything. But best of luck to you. Bye.